This conference will now be recorded.
Hi there, this is Fari Hamzi. It's Wednesday, 29th of November. It's about 12 p.m. Eastern. First of all, my apologies for scheduling this twice. About 2 weeks ago, but I was in my between bouts with potentially another rhinovirus attack. Now, I've been fully vaxxed, but this has no vaccination. Rhino, RHINO. It's not RINO. Yeah. This has got H in there. And there's no therapeutics and there's no vaccination. So I already have at least twice. I know I have it. Possibly the count could be up to even four. I got a couple of mild ones. So I thought this could be a fifth one. Although I'm very careful, but down here, yeah, it's just a different world. Anyhow, we're here. Thank you for attending. Today we're setting up a really basic Q&A class on our GoToMeeting room, which are being broadcasted to you right now. There are three components there. We have really three systems there, and I'm going to go over each one. I will take questions. I'll talk about what you need to prep, um, what things to think about, and of course, we're open to Q&A. Folks, please either you can announce the question or you can type it in, whatever works for you. You can open up your mic. My only request is turn it off once you're done with the question. Okay. All right. First of all, landing is simple. You come in through members page. Remember, this is the home page. All of our systems that run through members page. You click that. Depending what subscriptions you have, they're listed. You could be usually it's three of them. There are variation of these each one, depending on which one you have. But for this one, we go through the day trading systems, either Elite, NQ, I'm saying MNQ only, Elite, or Chatroom only. Okay. Uh, there's some videos here. We're going to go over that. There's a user guide here. So why don't we start with the first item, the oldest of all these, which was the impetus for some of the research we did, and it really was a research. It took time. The problem is you need to put it to work and test it, and that's what really it's a time that becomes a time consuming. Sorry, that becomes a time consuming issue. All right, the basic OTF is explained here. We're going to go through a couple of charts. I'll go that, but and then what we're using is really the OTF fractals. So you could see a development from a pure research, which happened earlier, and then built out. Actually, I had some help here. Anne Marie helped me quite a bit, which she's a great orator. She knows her stuff. She's a neuroscience major. And then, of course, like on options, we actually brought Admiral Espo in. And then we got to bigger and better things where we had help again from Admiral, Stephanie, and Ken Simmons and Stephanie Alexander. So these are some stuff to look at. You don't need to look at all of them, but I would suggest you do it every so often as a refresher. It's not a bad idea. I would look at the more recent one. Uh, I would not look at more than one as a seminar a day. The issue has to do with retention. And I know a gentleman, he was here earlier, he had a big problem with that retention. I asked him, I said, you need to ask yourself, you're here to learn, but during the day you're trading. So when you should be looking at these in evening time or a weekend, but you can't have interruptions. And you want to take some notes, some questions is good. If you don't get it, go back. These are recorded in a mode that you could go back and forth in your recording. The earlier webinars didn't have that feature, but by this time that offered it. Okay, so let's go through some basics. Now you see we have three access points. One is the GoToMeeting. Okay, the other two are offshoots of just OTF charts only. So let's look at the last one, ES. There you go. So I've loaded here for convenience only. Okay, why is that triggering here? Right. Okay. All right. It could be the data back is the issue. Okay. Hold on. 1 sec. Let me stop that. Let me see what the data is in the back. It should be not be like that. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. I see it. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's data's coming in. Hold on. So, we're not getting enough data back. Let me fix those in a second. My back. Okay. Yeah. This was causing it. Okay. It'll load 1 second, and then yeah. Okay. We're gonna come back to this in a second because it's gonna take data. It takes a while to grab the data. I can go here and explain to you what's going on. This is the fastest one. We have a small, medium, uh, large, and XL. We don't have XL plus on ES. It's just the nature of the beast. Basically, what we're filtering, and remember, this is a different type of a panel. Um, Part of it had to do with what I requested. They put it together back in the 14, 15 era. I was in Chicago. And we got to be finalized once I was on doorsteps. I was down here, 75 miles away. They gave me a hard time. I would go over there and bark, and people respond to the dog that barks loudest. I helped them a lot with Option Pro. Admiral did too. Now it was time for me to ask a favor. Remember the scene from uh, Godfather? Okay, these are good. Okay. So basically, what we're looking at, we're filtering the data as it comes in on a tape based on block size. There we go. It takes a while to compute. That's what we can refresh anytime we want. It's just nature of the beast. Okay. Uh, and what we try to look for is not what the price is. Prices are going to be the same. Now, early on, we had price were not the same either. That was problem with TradeStation. Yeah, that just wasn't efficient. We had a lot of problem with 9.5 for OTF. Not everything I had requested was in 9.5. Some commands were needed to create these bars. And exclusive. My deal with them was I don't want that to be published, to be tracked anywhere. I don't want anybody. I'm not creating competitor. I don't do that. I don't need to. I'm going to help myself. My IQ is for me and my clients, not for somebody else. So that's why we also avoid a lot of questions when it gets into a proprietary nature. The indicators are what we had before. This is a K-band, Kettler band modified, of course, and this is a Bollinger Band, but actually Bijan Band. It's a subset of a Bollinger Band that Bijan did, Bijan Chesri, for his CMT degree with uh, what was the group? Was it what's CMT for? It's I forgot these guys. Um, it's it's MTA. Was it MTA? MTA? Market Technician Association. Yeah, Market Technician Association. Right. Not Metropolitan Transportation Authority. No. Actually, I was very involved with them. We did a lot of books there. We lost our library in 9/11. Yeah, we had a lot of books up there. I would scour around, find books, rare books, and ship it there for a bit of everybody, rather than just for me. I did that in Southern California with help of Bollinger. We lost quite a bit of books, and we actually upped it up to do more because when the 9/11 happened, is the North Tower. The gal, I forgot her name. She actually stayed there, backed up everything, took the tape drive, and walked out. Okay, now that's a lot of valor. Okay, when everybody was running out, she stayed back, copied all the records. That what she couldn't take with her was the books, obviously the library, tremendous library. Unfortunately, was gone. Anyhow, Bijan was involved with them to get his CMT. I was a MTA member, but I was not. I was associate, and I just didn't have the time. I was involved with a bunch of other stuff, and I just said, no, I don't need that. Why do I need 3 more letters after my name? Bijan wasn't too pleased with that comment, but he says, you always say what's on your mind. I said, yeah. No filter. That was a diplomat. I don't need to be a diplomat. So anyhow, so what we did is we had to take these indicators, like this is the Bijan band, modify it to read the data. The data is not what you see. This is all price data. No. We embed in there the volume data that meets this criteria. So you have, I'll give you a kind of a feel. We got to look at this. This data could be slightly old in terms of size, but predominantly This is over 25 contracts. Okay, maybe even more. We got to take a look at it. We may slacked it a little bit. We used to do that more often. It got to a point where it was meaningless. The changes, yeah. We kind of look at it like once a year. And when we download a lot of data, we send it to an Excel sheet to give us what these bell curve area of interest is in terms of block sizes, and it's not linear, and it's not unique. We used to have it in years back, which was a basic OTF before we went to fractals. But before we went to fractals, back down here, it was one number fit all. One for ES, one for NQ, one for like treasuries, VIX, uh, gold, crude oil. So we had different servers doing by asset class. I think we had 4 servers doing 4 asset classes. And somewhere in there, we put it in a couple of VIX stuff. There was a fellow, actually, he ran Typhoon Capital in Chicago. He was using our VIX OTF to do what's called uh, he was doing scalping volatility. Very sophisticated, very sophisticated. Never explained to us how he did it. I didn't ask. Whatever you take off of this and do yourself is yours. That's not my issue. But very, very clever way when they were doing it, and they actually built that business quite a bit. Yeah, to a good size. And then the company was sold. Yeah, they just use our charts for their trading. The data is very intensive. Data has to be very clean. The problem is not price, high and low. It's the volume. There are a lot of errors in volume. As such, there would be the block trades will be impacted too. Block trade is number of size per one trade. That's one trigger. Okay, so if you have volume issues, obviously you're gonna have some of it's gonna be block issue. That's why we keep cleaning these things often. It takes about 2-3 minutes to clean up. So if you see it blank, don't panic. It's coming back. It says there's a message up there. Here, I'll give you an example here. Boom. And they're related. So the other ones shut off too. They go together, get the data, come in with the clean data. My background was neural nets. My first tool I created to trade treasury bonds back in the 92, 93, 94 area. And of course, I forgot his name. The fellow who was a treasury secretary under Clinton. I forget his name. The Texas guy. He messed up everything completely because they were projecting ahead of themselves that we're going to have a surplus. That was the goal, okay? But they preempted everybody, and including the bond market. So let me find his name. No, not Ruben. The guy before that. From Texas. How can I forget? He created a major loss. Yeah, the system had never seen anything like that. Ruben Benson, Lloyd Benson. That's it. Lloyd Benson. He was there about 2 years. Right about 2 years, I was active. January '93 to December '94. We had geared up in '92 for the code. The code took a while to finish, and we also had clean data issues back then. Believe it or not, we were getting it off of a satellite in LA because the FM station that would give you signal prices, a company called eSignal, the baud rates were too low. And if the rain comes, we get into trouble because it's FM. Yeah. I've gone through quite a bit. Yeah. But anyhow, basically what we're looking for is how the whales move. That means these two. If you're trading OTF, you want to look at the large and uh, you want to look at extra large, XL. Okay. Now that's what's called ES. So one chat room is for that. There's a chat room there. People don't talk much. I try to put the gentleman there to help. He was a ES trader. I think this was a little bit too exotic for him. Listen, we gotta go where we make money. You should not be afraid of his exoticness. If you were if if other indicators were making money, you wouldn't be here. There's a reason you're here. So you gotta take a look at what's working and you gotta adapt to it. Some people have a hard time to be adaptable. I call it instructability. Some people are very, very hard to be instructed. They just don't want it. I have a good friend in LA. There is no way you can convince him to do something other than what he's doing. Fine. So more power to him. Listen, as long as you're profitable, nobody complains, including yourself. But if there's profitability issue, then you need to also look in the mirror, so to see what's causing it. So that's ES. Let's go to NQ. NQ's got 5 panels. Much bigger problem, believe it or not. And still we have Excel Plus in there. It just necessitates that. And now I don't have those dots here. My bad. We have to add the dots. But by dots, I mean these dots. See these dots? Yeah. I got to add to those charts. There's a little bit older version, but it can be added. That's not a problem. As simply as turning right, going to studies, add study. Now that's to show me. That's part of the package you get. Here's your OTF dot. Go. You see that? You see the dots. There we go. So I'll apply them to them, but they should have dots. That's what we have on their servers. And same thing here. I'm going to add a dot here. So reminders for me to set it up for later for use. I did not check this. My bad. Again, it's to show me. That's the only show me we have done. One is for OTF charts. One is for you guys for distribution. Right? Those are your happy experts. Yeah. There you go. You can see that word. What does these dots mean? It's when the high reading you get on CI diff. When they go high, that's beginning to alert you that we're coming to a peak. And when you get a confluence, so you have a high readings on CI diff, these readings, or low readings, which is down here, versus price levels, the projected price levels. Remember, these are just Kono probabilities. That's why I usually look at these. My eyes are going up and down like this. I'll look at a chart, sure. I'll quickly, but first I'm really more interested in what these levels are, because those are Kono probabilities. As each data come in, these numbers got to slightly change. You can see it. It's going to change. Not the price, but I'm talking about the levels. As you get a confluence between two different setup, this is the block trades pricing versus where the CI diffs are, then you should be ready. And you can see it usually gives you a signal to say, hey, whatever you're doing, ease. Start retiring it. You're getting to near the high. Not say you go short, but at least you stop being long. I like to go on flat for a moment in between. It's not going to be that good if you just do an SNR, stop and reverse. You're bringing some chaos into it. Wait for the setup. Wait for it to at least come back below these levels, and then you get your short. And you can see the same thing here. It continues to do that. So that's the two of them. These are dedicated web chat rooms there. Again, you get in there at to this link, and notice up here. Okay, these are from Sunday 6 p.m. to Friday 5 p.m. Why? That's the only time the charts are moving. That's when we're open. That's when the charts come. And so during the weekend we're not open. We'll get a request every once in a while on the email saying somebody try to get in. Guys, you can't move the charts. The charts are what you saw on Friday. So on the Sunday, let it go. Yeah. We're not running the servers. We're just trying to get 5 days a week out of them rather than 7 days a week. So a little bit more longevity on the hardware. Aside from that, there's no cost. There's no cost for you coming here and not going in. It's a fixed. These things are fixed price anyway, and they're cheap. So thank God we found them. In the old days when we were on the desktop V3 on the Microsoft Cloud, oh God, the cost was heavy because the way Microsoft operates is like a gas station. The moment you take the hose out, it zeroes in and starts putting it. The moment you put in the tank, it starts moving. Any transaction, any message, any voice or audio or video clips there, it adds. Not with the way Zoom first, and then GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is a little bit newer package, put out mainly because of as a side effect of pandemic. Okay. So the third one is this one. This is a GoToMeeting. This is the third link. We put that. Oh, where did I close this? We put that up front so you could see that's where our predominant. If you log in, oh, okay, I was still logging. Okay, was still that within that 20 minutes. It also shows up here. Two places you have it here or in a landing page. Okay. Now, um, any questions for me on OTF? And I suggest look at what are these. I would look at this very nuanced stuff. The first area, basics and nuance, and then jump into fractals. Okay. Uh, we made it OTF light because we made it a little bit easier for everybody. That's all. That to be separate. But fractals is what you see in a in let's say worth of a star. Okay, fractals in nature. Yeah, you could go there. You could see that that's a fractal. Okay, if you go to images, this is a fractal. Okay, uh, this is a very good fractal. This one. This is a true fractal. Okay, you see how it starts? Yeah. Why? If you go back and forth, you'll see from whether the smaller blocks to bigger blocks and on, it adds up. Notice the one on GoToMeeting, we use a center panel for something different. I'm going to get into that. But if you want to purely just look at NQ fractals, then use the, and you get the small there. We eliminate the small because, again, the emphasis should be on the left-hand side. Why? These are the whales. These are the big guns. These are the ones who move the market. It's not the small guys. Small guys will jump back and forth, fight over a nickel. That doesn't move the market. It's the whales. It's the big guns. It's Ackerman and Bruce Kovner, SAC, and these guys. I have a couple other names I'm going to drop, but I don't want to drop names. Plus, they're not as active as they used to be in this space. Anyhow, but please pay attention to that. Basically, what we have there, Sigma channels here, CI with a CI diff. This is a compression to space, so we have better resolution. And then we use same colors. This is MBS. MBS is always white. We do not use VWAP on OTF. The accuracy is not good because here's the problem. We're not time-based. And because our block trades are huge, there's the skew it. And we don't have the small trades. Remember, we eliminate the small trades out. It's very tricky, but it can be done. And don't tell me it can't be done. To me, I told one of them, so I'm going to get this thing done, no matter what you tell me. And we did. But the point is, if you want an accurate reading, VWAP is here, not that. VWAP for OTF is mission impossible. So again, you got 4 panels here, small. To the Excel, there's no Excel Plus for ES. And but if you go regular, you see the L5. Notice they're all the same setup. Okay. What we could do, we can combine those. Yeah, I think on the you guys need you want that separate, don't you? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we have them separate here. That's fine. But I add dots here. That's exactly what you see on the designated video broadcast. Okay, let me watch my time. Okay, all right. So that's OTF. All we did really to modify some of our indicators once the charts were done correctly. Once the charts were drawing properly based on volume, I mean not volume, but block sizes, by category of block sizes. Again, we have to recast it every so often. We used to do it once a month. It turned out it was not that significant. But every 3 months we have done it. I'll plan to do one over the holiday period. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's see. Is there anything? Okay, now let's go to the next subject. If you don't have any, do you have any questions on basic OTF or fractals? Are we clear there? I know that causes a problem with not equal bar interval. Doesn't matter. Let go. Yeah. As they said in Ask, get off it. Yeah. Let it go. Yeah. Just understand what it is. Don't fight it. You're inhibiting your own learning process. Okay. Or retention. Just let it go. Just accept it. Understand what it does for you. Take the benefit from that. Now we added along the way. Next item was this DMZ plus ATR. There are 2 items there. One of them is not mine. This is done by uh, who did ATR? The crazy guy in the 60s. Average to range. To range. Hold on. Indicator explained. Uh, Investopedia usually is good at stuff. It was done by. Hold on. It was done by. Wells Wilder. That's it. Wells Wilder. I was a sucker and I bought his $200 book and taught me nothing. Listen, at the beginning, you don't know where to hang your hat. You're trying to look at everything and you're not doing well. You're changing indicators, and all these indicators were good up to a point. The fact, because I didn't write it myself, I didn't know the inside. And basically, what this does, ATR is a good measure of volatility. You can read about it. It's a real-time volatility, so it's useful. Uh, we so let me talk about DMZ. DMZ is us. It stands for demilitarized zone, and the concept is above. Let me see if I can get this thing out. Disable it for a second. Okay, you could see we above it you want to be long, below it you want to be short. Okay, there's of course we have a cross. Where did it came about? DMZ was used to added filter to DCI. You see this as a CI. We also had again in our indicator package. There's some PDFs you can read about. Let's see. Happy. There we go. There's some PDFs that you can read. There we go. There we go. Some of these. You see that DCI? That was a precursor to DMZ. That was double CI and had a hard time with it. We had. Why? Because it was open for input and people would play with inputs all day. You can't keep changing your inputs. That's not going to add anything. At the margin, the results are minor. The other problem we had was that, and we didn't take it out. No, we just left it. When we start cautioning people, there are two inputs in there. Okay, because it's a dual CI. This one has one input that's locked, the CI part, but DCI has got two inputs, and one has to be smaller than the other one. You got fast and slow. They were inverting it. What if I do that? Don't. We told you not to. What do you mean that? They don't realize if you switch this, you get a totally different timing model, and you're going to just blow up. So I had some trouble with that. Then it went dormant. We didn't do anything for a while. Sat there. In 2019, I just happened to read I get this different this called journals, either by PDF or somebody subscribes to it, send me something to read. This one just came out of Google search. Uh, I was trying to do a better way of smoothing things, okay, smoothing function. And obviously, quite a bit we've done inside CI itself. So it was naturally for me to go there and take a look and see what's saying. And I remember it was a Thursday or Friday afternoon. I read it and kind of said, "Oh, okay, well, whatever." Made some notes and sat on my reading section of my desk. I always have a few items to read and analyze. I just sat there. Next Saturday, I'm taking a shower. Boom! It hits me. Rushed out, wrote down wet, dripping. Wrote down a piece of paper while it hit me. I came back, finished my shower, took the notes out of the statistical journal, and applied to CI. Did not have good results immediately. A couple of hours later, I got it. A couple of hours later, it showed up. The only thing I added was a filtering on the color. Notice the top line is always green. Even though it's following down, which is the fast one, what we did, fast DMZ, we wrote a routine, that's why the color looks funny, to detect the cross and rule over the color. So you may have a, see that? You may have a red, green, and slightly delay. It's just because the way these vectors are drawing it on the biggest screen. But the concept is the fast is always green, and then it's on the upside, and it's red on the downside. And then inverse is true of the slow one. So it creates a band in between. That's our logic. That's the word demilitarized zone. So that above it you want to be neutral, long, below you want to be red, in between you should be neutral or in the process of getting neutral. For example, this bar. This bar happened today, if you recall. But this bar comes, we're above, way above. We're overshooting DMZ. higher, higher, higher. Then we go to a lot of sausage operation. You break down, but there's no close. Boom. There's a actually this is your first close. Marginal close, right at the green line, green DMZ. Well, that says we're done, boys and girls, on the upside. Remember, it's very, very visual. Next bar was the nail in the coffin. Completely outside bar and went past what we call now DMZ plus, the center line. Okay. And boom, what's happening next? This is happening next. It told you. It told you. You have to pay attention. Well, you didn't get it this time, you'll get it next time. You just got to watch it. These things repeat themselves. As long as you get the concept down, you're giving yourself a license to print money legally. Are you with me? Only a Fed chair can order printing money. But you're giving yourself a license to print money as long as A, you're paying attention, and B, you're acting. You have to take, you have to own the trade. They have to do about it. You can't just sit there. Well, I just sat there to see what happens. You're not. You're going to be executed. There's a firing squad waiting for you down here. Okay? Don't do that. Learn how to have this confidence in you that you can print money. Okay? What is it needed? Pay attention, executing, and also putting everything else out. I learned it from probably my dad. He was known for that at the Air Force. I block out other stuff. I have to. I have to. I just boom. Phone rings. I turn it off. I'll get to it later because I gotta watch this. So that's how powerful this DMC is. Now let's add the next layer that we just turned off. Remember? So let me. No, I don't want to do that. Let's do edit all because I gotta find it. I just turned off one thing, and that should be the one with ATR. I put this off. Okay, that's okay. So that's that. I put it back on. Okay, now. So then came okay. We were seeing that we were overshooting, right? Before these pluses were there, we're overshooting and undershooting. I told myself, where is that level? That's how I found Sigma channels. It wasn't what Bollinger taught me. It's what Bollinger didn't teach me. So I go back to it. We go, yeah, that's noise. I said, no, Johnny, it's not noise. I said, oh, you got to tell me that? He goes, Farry, I know a lot of statistics. I said, I understand, Johnny. Yeah. I understand you do. But you're not looking at what I'm looking at. So I showed him. He goes, oh, shit. So it's not what you see, it's what you don't see that should ought to ask yourself a question if you're a system designer, if you're an indicator designer. As for me was, what are these levels? Why is it stops at a certain level? Can we capture that? Obviously, you cannot capture all of them. So you got to be happy with a certain capture rate. Let's say 70%. Okay. And one logical way to do that was the volatility bands, which is ATR. If I can take volatility bands of the same 3-minute bar and add it to the green line and deduct it from the red line, you create this discrete band that's kind of encompassing the price action. You still got to overshoot, but you can see the fear and greed levels. So we had to call that. Obviously, the color code was something that we did for you guys to show where the extremes are coming. And of course, one of my programmers, he was, you see that plus there? Yeah, he put that stuff in to get your attention. It increases the size and it goes flashing because there's a lot in front of you. It has to alert you. I know you're trying to pay a lot of attention, but we're a human being. So he added those items that could start flashing. As we get closer, it gets bigger and so forth. Now, the thresholds are simple. This is greed, this is fear. On the way up, if it hits the greed level and exceeds it, the color changes. And you can count it as a cluster. It is what it is. It's not more than that. You cannot, it's not a pretty sight. It's not a uniform sight. Why? Because order flow isn't. Remember, this is not Mattel um, assembly operation of widgets. The widget line that comes into assembly is not. It's always uniform. That's not it. You can have all kinds of buy and sell, all kinds of block trades, all kinds of news, mom and pops, hedgies, CTAs are all coming to the same space. It's the same asset. Remember, NQ and ES are trending only two places only. That's it. On the Globex or on the now only on the option side on the CME floor. So there's only it's not a multi market maker environment like a Nasdaq is. Nasdaq itself, the pure Nasdaq names, for example, Apple. I think Apple's got like 7 to 10 market makers. So the software, when you do the options on them, they got to find the best price. Best bid, lowest bid, highest ask type, so you can be able to give you the range and also the nearest one for the fill. This is not it. No, this have only one place. So you get a little bit jagged all across the place, but the colors change and gives you warning. Look, we came back from a red line once we added this color to big cyan. That means what? We hit the DMZ minus ATR. DMZ red minus ATR. We exceeded that. That means what? The drop is going to be dramatic. You almost can tell from this bar that the slope is going to be dramatically to the downside. What does it mean? If you're long, you're going to get killed. No ifs and buts about it. There's no time to pray. No praying here, please. What you need to do is flip in your mind fast to the downside and book all of this. This is a gift. Now, as each bar comes in, I usually keep track the count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This was 8-bar move. 24 minutes was a killing field. Obviously, we're going to exceed. How do we exceed? It's called separation. On the top, you look at the highs, separating from the grid level. On the bottom, look at the lows, separating from the fear level. If you have a separation, you're going to probably go back up. It's going to swing back up. It's a mean reversion. But you're not going to have mean reversion here. Why? Because you're below the pluses. You have no separation yet. You need to find the lows of the bars being above the cyan pluses, which happens over here. And I would usually like to buy the second one, not the first one. First one is kind of noisy. The second reset was very good. And we went up here. Now, when I stopped up there, maybe I'll take some out, maybe majority. But the fact that we get this far, yeah, then you're out. You cannot pick tops and bottoms. Doesn't work. You can shoot for them. You could be lucky at times, but there's no guarantee you can sit through and all kinds of noise and find the bottoms and tops. No, it's just when your markets have a tendency to overshoot, you can see that, so you know what's going to happen. Here, this was a huge overshoot. These two bars falls back down, goes for a second, doesn't make it. You can see it up here. Also, pay attention to what's happening with CI diffs. The first order of business is really CI diffs. Why? Price. Let's talk about physics. Think of it as kinematics of the markets. I learned that from Stan Harley. One of the, I think, 98. It was time of a decade. I mean, of the year. Sorry. I don't think we've ever had a time of a decade until I showed up. But at time of Dodgers, I don't recall ever. But Stan was a great guy. Learned a lot from him. Texas A&M, and he was Navy backseat for F-14. So he launched the missiles. He did all the AUG-14, AUG-9s, and the AIM-54s. Think of it as physics. This is a space. This is distance. You're traveling this distance, okay? The CI becomes your direction or velocity. You have a positive velocity, neutral velocity, negative velocity. Think of it this way. So you're going back. The CI diff is a differential between these two. It's equivalent to first derivative, but it's not. If it was a first derivative, it would be a little bit more smoother. I wanted more jagged, so it's more observed. And you could see it peaks, went to this is 25 and 30 or 20 and 25, whatever that level we have there. Yeah, there we go. And then look what happened after that. As it goes forward, the differential drops dramatically. When it goes to zero, what do you call it? The speed has changed. So now it's like putting your foot on the accelerator. I'm sorry, on the brake. On the accelerator, letting it cruise, taking off your foot off the accelerator, cruise, then put it on the brake. You could see how dramatically it drops. As this drops, this gives you a direction. You could see a break coming. This gives you added feature of seeing what the direction is going to be, and you're not going to be done until you at least get this V down here, like a V, like a carrot on top, V on the bottom. So this, and remember, you're going to be one bar behind always. You can't be on that bar. You don't know. You have to wait for the bar to finish. Still fairly negative, but getting better, and that's where the bottom was put in. Double checked and run up, and then it peaked. You see that? So if you see this peak, you can get out of this bar. One bar is okay. One bar. Look what the run up you had, and let's say you run. The moment this ticks down, you stop. So pay attention as there's a webinar that uh, Key, Ken Simmons said. I urge you guys to watch that. It's no. Let's see. Get sign in. Hold on. Yeah. There we go. I urge you guys to watch that. I think it's one of these. I'm not sure which one of these, but it's one of these two. Okay. We did one in about 3 weeks period. Okay. Then the point was, he says, I am hooked to CI diffs. All I need to know what my price is as I register that bar in my head. If I just keep my eyes down and look at this, I can tell you what the price is going to be. Fairly certain. Why? It's a change. You can see the direction of a change and intensity. So you can extrapolate what the price should be. Now, you don't need to do that. He was doing it for his own concentration. Ken is a very, very intense trader, very. Uh, and what you need to do is look at both. They feed each other. You can understand how this is moving and get a feel for. For example, we're up here, very little down, mainly up. We're still going up. Even though we shook back and forth, we still went up. Okay. Then there was a little shakedown here. Okay, sideways. Retest failure and then pulls out. Why? But again, you have a what do you call it? Separation. The lows are not hitting for a number of bars down here. So you forget the lows. Why? Volume profile. Market is an auction. You guys have been in auction. You should understand this easily. It pushes it to find the price, find the transaction. Doesn't happen. It goes go the other way. This is his job, constantly to find price discovery. Go up, cannot find going up, go down. Do down here. So where you are, you gotta have a solid control over your nerve system and say, okay, I'm doing this part, but not that part. I'm going to this way or that way. Sometimes when I'm down here, I'm nervous, and I've got to maybe I made a mistake of covering my short here, for example. Let's say I catch this correctly. Okay, I cover here, and then I say I'm going to go long. All right, I didn't have a long signal, but I told myself, oh, you know what, MBS, they'll probably got faded. Let me go long. You go long, and boom, it drops. Well, maybe a little room, but what keeps you in the game is this. If you don't see this, you need to get out. Take your loss and get out. Find for the right setup if you want to go back long again, or stay short. Trade the short side. I usually like to give the space between my trades. Why? Because we don't swing back and forth. Mood doesn't change. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. It doesn't. It takes a while to go through that cycle, several bars. So I want to take a pause, not be under pressure, understand the chart, come up with the next strategy, and then implement it. Okay. So when I see this, though, then I'm saying, okay, let me lighten up. I actually sometimes a lot of times I lighten up a little bit, bear holding power. So my long has less number of contracts in it. As it turns and starts doing separation, I open the 12 and maybe 2, 3 times as much. Why? Because I got to make up for that loss too. And now I got to be more careful because now you got size on. The moment it hits this nice positive area, you know, kiss, yeah, say thank you for your blessings, book that trade. You got out of that mess. Wait for a nice setup, clean setup. Okay, that's basically DMZ plus ATRS. The militarized zone plus a band around it that's defined by ever-changing order flow. So we measured that, we plotted. Okay, all of our systems are adaptive. They have to be. Anything fixed, you get into trouble. They have to be adaptive. Okay? Let's see. Talk about average true range. We talked about the DCI, statistical filter, 3-minute chart. Yeah. You can change that. Those of you get the package, you can change that. I don't think you get all of this. Some of these for the chat room only as extra enhancement, but you get fairly close for distribution. You can try 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes probably works better for ES. For NQ, seems to be 3 minutes. We did extensive testing on that back in 19, and as you can see on the webinars, you see that period there. We did a lot of stuff on fractals. DMZ was added, but we did not roll it out in this format until 21. Why? 20 was a difficult period mentally for all of us, the pandemic. Of course, continued to 21, but the fear was 20. Why? We had no vaccine. Once the vaccine was in place, now you had a, a little bit clear. I mean, hell, this period, probably from April, probably this, at least that, from April to August, at least that. I'd say from June or May, from May when we had the first shot off here, till about last week of December, I did not leave my house. I did not. Other than a little bit of food shopping, a little bit of pharmacy. Even majority of that was also delivered for me. So there were a different mindset. Came to 21, we start looking at DMC, having some webinars, discussing it, and it was time for us to expose it. We don't go come up with an indicator and throw it your way. It's got to go through very thorough testing. That's why I have extra monitors. I run things constantly without impacting the production side. So you got a production side and there's a development side. For example, what I do with my programmers, we have a dedicated machine just for them. Yeah. For the code, everything, so that we can get into doing things live and see results and then let it be. Let it be. They want to come in and check it. They can come in during the day to check it. They could see what the system has done so far. So uh, learn from Northrop. R&D means nothing if you don't experiment with it, if you don't follow it through in detail, because you don't know what you've built. You think what you have built. In reality, it could be different. All right, let's go to the third item, orb. Now, orb was a totally different animal, and I just asked a stupid question, basically. Yeah, there we go. All right. Which was, well, after we done DMZ plus ATR, I said, which is right here. Again, this is how we show it. We don't send you out this one with a standard page. There's a standard page that's available on the system for those who you get the elite package. The big elite or small elite, doesn't matter. Uh, Notice that there is a workspace. Your workspace, and we use 490, and then the actual code. You still need the user guide, but everybody needs a user guide. So go to user guide, download it, print it. There's a lot of work gone into that. And you could see our latest version, what we have changed there, so on and so forth. A lot of notes. Some of them are read. Some of you guys don't read them. I get it. Uh, by the way, we're going to rotate to H24 in about a week. So the code that we're going out is going to change. We're going to change that slightly. That's all. So it's the H24. And you can see it here already programmed in. This is programmed in. We added a lot of code in there because we're getting very haphazard folks using this, making all kinds of assumptions. So you get some back. There's some reading to do, but you could see this is what we send you. Okay. Now we're gonna send you. We're gonna probably be at 72 by Friday, by tomorrow actually, maybe. Yeah, yeah, by tomorrow. So we send you out the code tonight, tomorrow night. For Friday, we should be okay. You could see this is important settings. Please read this. These are important. We spent some time creating graphics, reminding you what you got to do. Okay. Okay. Often, this is where the mistake comes in. People are not saying the setting is right. We also set it up to get warning messages. Trade size. This is controlled in a strategy. Uh, I'll show that. You go to studies, strategy. There's a trade size. Now, depending what your account number is, that is determined by your access. You can, on a basic package, you do 3 NQs or 3 to 30 MNQs. Why? Because MNQ is 1/10 of NQ. Okay. You have indicator side that's coming in, which is plots it. Let me let me do it like this. Okay. You have indicator side that's coming in. The red line says we're not going to trade today, and when it's a yellow, they were going to be trading that day. It runs 24/7. It has to. If we don't, we're going to have an erratic movement at the open on the indicators, not price, but indicator. So the price and indicators will not be in sync. That was one of our first mistakes. We cleared that up. Hold on. Where are we? That's afternoon. But we did a 3 minutes bar, so quite a bit there. Okay. Now, look, we got stopped out completely on the first trade. But let's think about this. Okay. So the yellow dot says, be ready. If you get that, now, if you don't get that, system is not on. Indicators are done. Okay. So if you don't have that, the indicator is not running. You have two modules there. See that? Here's the indicator. 495. They have to match. 495 indicator. Okay. That's for that. If I toggle that, that's gone. Okay. Yeah, sorry. That's a DMZ plus. Forget that for a moment. Let's not. If you get this, your indicator is not running. You need to have the indicator on. Okay. So status that on. There you go. Okay. Now, if you don't get the dashes, you don't get the entry or the first one, the vertical dash, it says your strategy is not on, and you're not green up here. You see that green up there? You have to be green. If it's not green, you're getting a different message. We have put a lot in it to help you guys because I was in LA, I had COVID, couldn't move, limited to a small space. You know, my dad's 2 bedroom place, and I'm his final years. That's where he lived, and I'm stuck there. They're bringing my food. CMI helped me quite a bit. Cash helped me quite a bit. Bring me daily food, leave it outside, and I'm dealing with all these problems on email. So I called one of my programmers. I said, enough is enough. We've got to build some filters here because we're having a lot of crazy dudes here. Yeah, I mean they're just cowboys. So we built some of this stuff. This expiration, the 3 minutes, trade size has to be in there. So that gives you messages that is here. You have a problem, please send this picture to us. I want to see this area so I know that you were on or off, what version you're running, and so forth. The following release, we also put what's called version control. Version control is going to obliterate your existing code that's past due. So right now we're running this November code. On Friday, November code cannot be run anymore, even if you want to. We built a filter in there. That was my design. I know. I was so frustrated. I said, I've got to design this. So I put, hi, Pusik, welcome, sir. We're in the middle of our webinar here. I said, we've got
Hi.
the system. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Sorry.
It's being
I
recorded.
was in other meetings, so didn't join early.
No worries, no worries. We're being recorded. I'll send it to you later on today. After, of course, we have to finish the webinar. Otherwise, the recording, unfortunately, is not released. That's how GoToMeeting works. But anyhow, we built that such that it's got a little piece of information in the strategy, little piece of information in the indicator, and they all have to match the authenticator that matches your ID and time. So you got time, your account, and the two components. We tie it all together. It's a little bit more work to release it, but this way, 80% of my calls are gone. Most of the time, I have people who, like Admiral Esposito, he likes to save everything. I said, what? Why? It's not tax paper you do 7 years. It's a file. And we also have copies for you. We always have copies on the website. The moment we change something, it's there. A new member comes in. We have to authenticate them, add them. We update the file. These two have updated files in there. This is for the code. The two codes come in, two files come in, and this is workspace. Now, here's a little trick here. We're at 72 here right now. We updated everything except the code manipulator that does 72. Uh, they need to match for the workspace level. Okay, so match in the sense that I'm saying they are uh, they're backward compatible, but not forward. So if you're running 70, update 70, you're okay. You can take this code. But if you're running 72, you can't. Okay? So we wait, and we don't want to be guinea pigs. Other people use it. I know a couple of guys who are in beta program. I kind of poke them, hey, what do you see? What do you think? And they say, hold, not for you, Fari. You got too much of an install base between the indicators, orb, and all that. No, not now. They recently gave me a green light on 72. Then I start one or two machines myself. Can I install properly? Does it run properly? Wait a couple of days, couple of more machines. I got 8 machines here. Yeah, 6 in this room, and 2 laptops. So I'm at like 5 right now. So slowly add more, test it, make sure good, and then we change here. Okay, to go 72. Now someone's microphone is open. Not a problem if you'd like to ask a question. See how your mic is open? Let me close that. There we go. Okay, I think I got you. Okay, anybody else? No, that was see your mic. Okay, no worries. So these are preliminary stuff that we got to do. So we're all together. We're flying together. Okay. So formation. So it has to do with the technology. We are expecting a big one from TradeStation to go 64-bit. It doesn't smell right that's going to be ready this year. We're getting close, and they have released mid-December, but not after that. So I don't know if they're going to do it yet or not. We won't know until we get there. I know it's not 72. 72 is still 32-bit. We're looking for 64-bit. Here's the problem. We'll probably wait a couple of versions. Why? It's going to have problems. Remember, they went to multi-core. We're running multi-core right now, which is for the strategy is crucial. You run multi-core. How do we go there? Preferences, desktop. There we go. The performance. You go to performance. It comes to you like this. That's how it's downloaded. Because it doesn't know what machine you have. So at least get up and run. Then you go here and you can adjust what you want. I go full max. Because these are dedicated machines. I don't do anything else with them. One of my machines I do everything else. Emails, webinars, all that. This is dedicated to you guys. So I want full 16 core running. How do you know how many cores you have? It is part of your system. Oh no, not there. I'm sorry. Run what do you call it? You run system what do you call it? Task manager, and right there it tells you how many you have. It's got 8 cores here. I'm sorry, 8 cores, logical 16. So you have 16 logical processors running. This way, it's distributing TradeStation to different CPUs. Before, with just one. And it could be a biggest task you're running. It would assign it to other ones to level load them. But you can add up all the other tasks and be half a core of CPU. And this one is struggling. They finally changed it. You don't know how many fights I've had with these guys. I'm talking about higher echelons. I mean, on a private, at lunch or something. I don't embarrass them, but in no uncertain terms, I read them their rights. I said, "You guys are nuts. How long are you going to be behind?" No, let me add this band. Adam. And well, Ferry, you don't understand. I said, "I do. I will. I worked on a B2 bomber. I understand it. Don't tell me about software development. Okay, sit down and shut up. You know. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's just we weren't born yesterday. So now, currently the system does not trade on Wednesdays. Recently, we also took Monday off. We're thinking of putting Monday back on, but that's probably sometime in December. So for January or mid December, we can issue a code update middle of a month. It doesn't matter have to be end of a month. We just have to do the end of a month because of a time expiration. because the way we bill, it's always you permitted to end of a month of the quarter you're in. Now, let me tell you performance. We do have a setup here that's not incomplete, as I mentioned earlier. This was kept up from day one. This is actual live traded, actual money traded in at Fox and before that Striker. Okay, there's obvious usual disclaimers there. What the hell is the 494 for? Huh? Really? That should be 4.95. I'll have to update that. Okay. Now this was being up. There's no of my money in there. The code goes to the same code you guys get. It's run by Fox in Chicago. Okay, and a Striker. So I'm out of the loop by design. This is money from my good friend Marshall Freed. Now, why not my money? Because they wanted completely independent. They want every piece to be independent if you're reporting it. And I said, okay, fine, that's okay. Now, the problem is that I don't get the statements. He does. Now, this was technical issues they had, not with us, but boycott, for example. I believe that was last year. So yeah, this was what they had. Striker did. As you notice, they have drop off. Once we get to the system, look at it. It's dropped off. There was an issue here. We stand down everything there. Yeah, in last July, there was a problem. I forgot what it was. And you could see, we're giving the version number if there's updates. You could see what we were running. Now, I made a deal with Fox so I could get access to this data daily, but I can't. But I don't want to go back. If you go back, that's considered backtest. I want actual trade. They close the trade, but not close the platform, so that there's the breadcrumbs there. So what I'm putting in there is the data from actual trades, not a backtest. If I would do a backtest, I'll do it myself here. And for the balance, he's giving us, Marshall's giving us his PDF, and Nancy and I got to help to build it out. So we're gonna start on the bottom here, going forward, and build in the bottom. The center could be built in about a day. That's not a problem. And we update it, and then that all gets reported here. See this box? It gets reported right there. You can see. Now, at one point we were like 800% here. There was the early part we just killed it. Then we start losing. It goes back and forth. System has ups and downs. Here's a no fixed system is going to always work. You go here, you could see if you go to the products, you could see we have put it up. You could see the payoff curve. Here's the payoff curve. Okay. Now this is the same system for a year back. Obviously, along the way we have changed system slightly. So none of this is complete, but at least you get a feel that these sort of things happen. It's just the way it is. You know why? Market texture. Nobody can protect that and guarantee you. We also say it in the user guide. If you go to a user guide down here, there should be a user guide here. There we go. There's a whole section on market texture because people thought, holy grail, Frank came up with this, so I'm going to make money every day. No, Frank can't do that. Nobody can do that. God cannot do that, okay? There's a whole market texture. There we go. There's no way for this system or anyone to be able to protect that. You cannot. It shows you that what baseline you could make. That's what this is. What we show you on the backtest like that. What happens in real time is a function of many things, including buy and sells, volume, maybe market interruption. There's a number of issues that come in. But all things being equal, it has a glorious past. And we're going to continue to do that. So that's the ORB. Let's see. Okay. Anything else I want? Okay. Now, one of the designs that was used in the disregard that. Okay. There we go. This was used in the design of ORB. What's called the local degrees of freedom. Well, and oh, by the way, okay, let me go through this. Yeah. The reason is that hold on, let me open this up a little bit. There you go for a moment. Okay, is that we didn't want to be a curve fit. We want the machine to be able to think for itself. It's not fully AI. I would not say that. That's not be correct. But it's got a lot of features of AI in there that it thinks for itself. It has to, so that it has some priorities on which exit to take, for example. It looks at what time of day it is. Here's what it does when the opening comes. Start putting dots in. As we make new highs, the dots open up because that's an opening range. ORB. We did not invent ORB. Concept ORB is not ABS analytics. ORB is actually pretty popular out there. MarketWatch did a study and showed that the single most profitable day trading system is an ORB type setup. And they studied a few. They did not contact me, although a couple of the editors know me through my PMT, especially Mark Hulbert. He used to be a timer himself, and I'm sorry, not a timer himself. He had a timer publication. He'd keep track of people like myself. I used to be on his publication too, years back. Then he got bought into MarketWatch, part of a Dow Jones, Murdoch Empire, and he's happy there and doesn't need the headache. Fine. But they didn't contact me for ORB. Their results for the best system they found was 4% a month. 48% a year was. Obviously, we blew through that completely. Even with our drawdowns, we were better than that. So, but what we did was we tried to think by itself, have superior indicators. We did not have DMZ in there at the beginning. Very early on, we didn't have DMZ in. DMZ was added. We took I don't know what we were looking at back then. I think there was some sort of binary option we had that it was. I think it was no. I think it was DM. I think it may have been DCI. I forgot. There was a signal we were using. DMZ was added in, and now we're going to add another feature of DMZ as our latest order. Probably tomorrow sometime. That's why tomorrow after close, I'm booked. We're not going to push it for release on the December 1st. No way. Not even the following week. Most likely around FOMC meeting that should be ready. Why? Because you want to see it. You want to see it operate in real time, not just backtest. Real time in the real time conditions where order flow comes in, order gets filled. It manages the balances up here, gives you the orders up here. So it's so crucial you pay attention. If you're having a problem seeing these sizes, you got a wrong size monitor. Try to get a bigger monitor. Ideally, this should be around a 40-inch monitor area, plus or minus. Don't sit down and try to do this with 27-inch. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. And prices are so low these days. It's not even a trade. Okay. Prices have come down. This is a Samsung 55-inch, I believe we're running this, and I think you can buy these now like $300. They're cheap now, and from Samsung, you can't find better quality of colors. Yeah, their color palette is amazing what they've done. So now I had another 55-inch. Let's see. No, I bought this for 600. It's about 300 now. I bought another one. The early ones that came out that was 55-inch, which I use for now for backup on Tiger Shark. I was $2,200. But I want to have one. I had a good day. I went to Toys R Us called Best Buy. That's it. Probably the worst thing I did. Why? It was at the peak. A month later, the stuff dropped like a rock. Now you can pick it up around again $300-400, like 90% of what I paid for, or 80% of what I paid for off. So, but that is a good time for monitors. That's not that prohibitive the cost. But try to get a bigger screen. And okay, so we plot these dots. When it gets to a white dot, we're ready to execute a trade. And when the other white dot shows up, that's 1030. These are variable. We hardly change them, but we have seen within some period to establish the opening range and then trade the breakout. That means long the top, short the bottom. Why like that? Well, because it's looking for continuation. You want to be long or short, but long the top, short the bottom, and then you cancel the other. The orders are shown up here, and you can cancel. That's if you don't run the code yourself. You don't run the elite package. Just a chat room only. You see it up there, and it gives you your stops. Now we used to have what's called IOG. interbar order generation, which is an easy way of running things in TradeStation until it comes to the order selection. Why? Because at each bar coming in, all the values are recalculated. The massive use on the CPU. And orders would dance in front of you. This also reflect what was the nearest order. We do not send orders in early. Why? Because you're not the only one sending orders in. Okay? There's a bunch of people trading this. Our estimate is, based on what I hear from inside, there are about 10,000 TradeStation users that trade using a system. Okay, that means the instructions to the Globex matching engine via TradeStation is about 10,000 clients. That's not a joke, guys. You have orders moving back and forth and changing or stopping it. You got too much going on. The chance of getting a mistake is high. What you want to do is send the order near the fill area where you think it's a possibility of a fill. You send it a little bit earlier. How do you do that? The machine has built-in features there that knows as you get near a price. I mean, our machine, OIB, has a feature. As you get near a price, then it sends that order in. It sits on the order, doesn't send it in, shows it to you, but it doesn't show it's gone. It says unsent. When you get sent, that means active. It's going to go there. And if it doesn't hit, it cancels it. It's just nice cleanup. It's the housekeeping stuff you got to do. And the machine does it in the background for you. Now, during this period, you can have up to 2 trades. One trade is a given. The second trade is only if the first trade was a loser. So maybe you have a chance to make it back. Now, during the summer, we closed that also. We just said 1 trade only. Why? There was a lot of sausage. Nobody was around. This was a different. This summer was different than last summer. Remember, market architecture is going to change itself. If not, somebody like you or me or Peter, we can corner the market. It's not going to happen. The market architecture will change to confuse all of us. So keep that in mind. And then this way also get rid of your wrong expectations. Our business is to manage your expectation, to give you dosage of reality. Otherwise, you're always going to be unhappy. You got to realize what the machine does, what it can do, what it cannot do. Now, obviously, when we have an error in the code, like we had that in December, with all that people in, remember, we went from middle of August, middle of August to Thanksgiving, non-stop was making money seriously. I mean, seriously. I mean, there were days here on the MNQ we were making 5, 6, 7, 8,000 a day. And then these were on some platforms that were advertising the top system guys. Within the 5 months of us releasing it on the Striker, we were #1 for their annual report. So people who had been there 1 year, within 5 months, we were #1. You know what happens? People came in droves. You have no idea what was coming in. I couldn't even keep up. I would just send the information to them and say, contact this guy, contact that guy. That gets you set up. I'm not a broker. Don't want to be a broker. There's no glory in being a broker anymore anyway. Brokers on boats, they're long gone. It doesn't happen like that. I said, listen, guys, go there. You need to open an account. And they would call me like, why is he late? He hasn't done mine yet. I said, listen, you're not the only one in line. Okay? They're going to get to you. Just give them a chance to get to you. If not today, tomorrow. Look at the results. What does 1 day means? Nothing. Just look at the results. So then with the IOG and that many people, remember, these are when you're running a system house, when you pull the trigger, it's all people in that accounts coming in for orb. The trading orb, all of our combined together for 1 trade. In, out, 3 contracts in, one out, right? All of that is combined together. So some of our results dropped. Why? We were not getting filled. That was a problem. Such an order was coming inside, people were not getting filled. So we had to drop the IOG because it was moving several hundred contracts. I swear, 700 contracts back and forth in order size. How do I know that? They have this machine too. I used to watch it. Yeah, over at Fox, you could see it. I have a login. I watch it. You just go, what? Yeah, because that's the number of contracts they were trading. And so we said we got to drop the AOG. So we did a stand down. That took us. I had to bring another programmer in, very expensive, but I said, I'm committed to this. We're going to do this right. Rather than say, thank you, we made the money, we run. No, no, no. We said, let's make it a little bit more, less volatile, better use. I knew the markets are not going to be the same. 2021 was one thing. 2022 was incredible. And now we're 2023. The texture is changing. We've got to be more flexible to accept potentially new texture as well. And that's the journey we've had. If you go to the uh, to give you a feel about the journey we've been, if you go to here, this is a sign up page. You could see we have posted everything. You could see where 2021 we started, and this is 2023. Right, there we go. There's January 23. Oh, everything we did, we've added. We had a lot of log files. Now, if you have a problem, we need your log files for that day. A picture, a log file, and the description of what you saw. So you could see. I mean, we're proud of what we've done. It was not an easy task. 3 guys, probably combined, I'd say 75%, 75 years of experience at TradeStation. Yeah, 65 to 75 years. Yeah. Of experience there. Yeah, so me and another guy go back from day one. Me as an outsider, as a customer, and another one from the inside. He was number one after the owners. He was the first product manager they hired. And then another fellow who came in recent, about 10 years after him. He's been there. He's been there for about 15, 17 years, and he's out now. I'm not. I don't have any code here from anybody that's inside. There have been maybe a couple suggestions, like the authentication by Miles Dunbar, number 2 guy, but he did it as a favor for me. I got him to give a couple of talks at Mask, and he was just relocating to LA. He sold his stock, bought the Porsche, bought the horse, bought the ranch, bought the wife, and moved to LA. Yeah, San Diego. So he wanted to get started on giving some talks and all that. We'll be back in a loop because he's taking a hiatus. They've all got IPO and they made millions. And it wasn't a money issue. It was just that he wanted to get back in the loop. I was running the Mask. I said, listen, no problem. So he came back and says, let me do something for you. I said, you don't need to. For what? I said, I pulled the Godfather on him. I said, I don't need anything right now, but one day maybe. Okay? One day I may ask you a favor. But right now we're good. Well, in 2021, when we put CI out, that day came. We didn't know how to do it. I'm sorry, CI. Where is CI? This one. Uh, That's the MZ diff. Hold on. Let's go here. Track. There we go. When we put the CI up, I said now we have to distribute it. How do you control that? And people come in at any time, but you can't give update codes every time for one person for everybody. So we update for everybody existing at the end of a month or end of a quarter. But as you come in, because you want to get you paid for it, you want to get going that day. To combine those two, we had to come up with authentication code. We did that for indicators. That's from them. Now the authentication for the orb, that was mine actually, because this is a monthly. The cost is too prohibitive to say all 3 months at once, especially for a new member, a non-believer, I would call it. So we did it in a simpler way, but we had 2 authentication packages, one for NQ, one for MNQ. It became a little bit cumbersome. One day, as I was again in LA during that COVID period, I told one of my programmers to come into my machine. We gotta do one authenticator, just one. So that's what happened. We have 2 now. One for Happy, one for HAPDDS, which is a proprietary day trading system. But but it's not from TradeStation. We actually rewrote this, and then you have to embed it back into the indicators and the strategy, so it could show that you're live, you're okay, you're fine, and it gives you a green light up there with that code. If you don't get anything other than that, you're gonna get some yellow, which is caution, or you can get red that says disaster. You gotta resolve that. It won't trade if you get a red one. So if you, for example, Friday, don't put the code in first thing in the morning. Put the code in at nighttime. Yeah. Make sure you get everything correct. All it is Mondays and Fridays roll over to new date. Okay. As far as uh, uh, code there should be. Now, there's the future margins. you need to know 3 NQs is 5,000. So it's 1848 times 3, 5,500. MNQs, this is the micros, is a quarter of that. So it's at 1,300 bucks. More efficient to do NQ. But I would have jumped there. I would start with MNQ first. Get to know the system easier. Remember, this is going to be much bigger return. 10 times the return. See that? 10% versus 25. So actually, dollar for dollar is 2.5 times. Okay, this is a quarter. That's a 10%. So dollar for dollar, the move is 2.5 times more efficient. But having said that, uh, uh, you don't want to go to an NQ up at the beginning. I don't know what you did, and you know what I've said, and you know what happened. Yeah. Remember, as what they used to say at Northrop, Fary's always right. Yeah, but that's not true. But I have a good sense that what things could be. This other one we want to do is you need to watch for is a rollover. So it's trade station. Hold on, rollover. Futures rollover. Future. Rollover. There we go. Rollover. Okay, that's gonna give you trading. No, hold on. Where's the rollover? Oh, it's not trade station. I'm sorry. It's not trade station. I'm sorry. CME. It's not. It has nothing to do with trade station. CME. There we go. Rollover. Okay. Access to markets. No, come on. Huh? Where's the rollover? Oh, come on. Huh? I had that. Okay, there we go. Okay. No, that's not it. That's it. It's close to that. I'll find it. I have it somewhere here. There's a rollover date. There we go. Index roll date. That's it. Sorry. Yes, the index roll date. Okay, so you could see the indices versus then for there's a different names. I mean, different categories. This is for the index. Okay. So 23, 12, we're gonna roll over on the 11th. On the 11th, we're gonna roll, which should be a Monday. So if you go into our calendar there, 1 second. Hold on. Huh? No. Hold on 1 second. Huh? Where's my rollover? Huh? 1 sec. I can't get there. Let me do it here on my calendar. I don't know. It's just a little bit hidden. 11th of should be a Monday. Yeah, 11th is the week from next Monday. Week from next Monday. Yeah, we're gonna roll. Why? It's an expiration week. So it's the Monday of the expiration week of the futures. So future expiring on the 15th. Okay. On the 15th. Okay. And it's 11. Now I'm glad they did this because people on the floor were deciding by themselves when they want to roll. Some people want to roll on the Wednesday before, Thursday before, Friday before. This is happening on a Sunday. So by the time Monday morning comes, you're there. Now, the OTF will do it Sunday night. So when you come in, you don't get into a wrong trade. The tendency is people get into wrong contract and sit there. They don't understand what happened next day. It can't get worse. I had a friend who actually sat through the expiration. Yeah. So basically, it was broke even, stopped trading, and then it took off. It was a wrong contract. There's no longer traded that Friday. Yeah. Remember, settlement is Friday morning on the 15th. So this fellow had the prior contract that was rolling off, kept through Thursday night. Why? He never heard of roll date. Why? I don't know. Some people don't educate themselves. What are you going to do? Yeah, some people make some stupid decisions in their lives. We, by the way, we need them too. Yeah, because somebody like me will take benefits from that. Somebody like you, yeah. So that's the ORB. Any questions for me on ORB? Any questions in general? I'll fix these obviously. Remember, OTF takes a lot of CPU. Yeah, a lot of data, a lot of CPU. So I'm going to shut these down. We don't need now. And obviously, we do some market timing In the morning times, we go over some things here. Market, these are open 24/6. So Friday, 5 p.m., we shut off. We clean the machine, reboot everything, and let's be ready for Sunday night. Sunday night around 6, I turn on. Sometimes a little bit later. Sometimes I'm preoccupied. No blondes, please. No, just preoccupied, and I'm looking at my phone. If the move is very little, don't trade at night. We have it here. You can take a look at it. You get a feel for the structure. You can feel for what the next day is going to look like. But low volume is very dangerous, and OTF is not very good at low volume. Keep that in mind. This is looking for blocks. Yeah, there are very few blocks. So price is shown, but you have a hollow price. That is, price is there, but there's no volume inside. So I wouldn't use them on low volume. Best is move for what do you call it? I'd say first 2 hours of a trade, 3 hours of a trade, then the last hour of the trading day. Yeah, lunchtime, stay away. And you can tell you're a sausage vote. Now let me reduce this a little bit. The default here is 2 levels, so you have to, for the sake of saving space, you need to open it up if need be. But we're like IB low, so back and forth. So good chance we are going to be negative, have a negative day. That makes sense. Okay, this concludes my presentation. It took us 90 minutes. Oh boy. Any questions for me? No questions? Okay, let me get out of this, and we're going to go. And what's this one? No? Oh, this one. Okay. Okay.